Good morning. I want to welcome you to our next installment of Coffee Talk. My coffee this morning got devoured. I literally would not have been able to be here with you if I was drinking it still. So right now I'm having my amazing, it looks like a lot of stuff, but and I left it in the in the blender cup. Anyway, so this is an amazing pea protein that I take every day, and it is a really high level, high quality pea protein, and all my greens are in here, and some raspberries, organic raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. That's why it's this color. And if I take a sip, I think my teeth are going to be all black, so I'm going to have to leave it here for now. I wanted to just go over something that's been heavy on my heart. Heavy, heavy, heavy. I've been hanging out with a new group of women, and I love starting to hang out with new group of women because you get to just get new perspective on where people are, on what's real in their world. And a lot of these women grew up in a different area than me, and so there's just a lot of fun things in getting to know somebody. But the thing that I like to always remember is that little saying that we've all taught our children, which is, if you go out looking for a friend, somehow you find no friends, but if you go out to be a friend, there are friends everywhere. So I've kind of adapted the latter, that I'm going to go out and I'm going to be a friend, and I'm going to be somebody that is relatable and somebody who is interested in what's going on in other people's lives. And I found that there are friends everywhere. There are people that are just dying for you to notice them, just dying for somebody to say, I see you. I see what you're doing, whether it's good, whether you're in the struggle, whether they need a prayer, whether they need just a shoulder to cry on. I always say that women could save a lot of money in therapy sessions if they have a group of good girlfriends, because sometimes all you need is a night with your girlfriends, and then you're like, well, I'm normal, everything is fine. So my question on this live was, are you living your best life now? And if not, then when? There's like something funky happening with the light, and I literally, if I move to the side, then you see me in a different way. I'm not touching it. I think the sun is just going up and down, so maybe I'll move over this way. I don't know what to do, but it looks good because you can't see any imperfections on my face. So I'll just leave it like this for the time being. There is no filter on. Anyway, so I wanted to just touch on that. If you're not living your best life now, then when? This is not a dress rehearsal. You only get one chance at being alive. You get one chance at this life. And if you are not taking steps to live out the calling on your life, or to step into your dreams, or to be authentically who you are, what are you waiting for? Like I said, this is not a dress rehearsal. You have a dash. I always talk to my girls, my group of girls that I work with, that I mentor, encourage, uplift. We always chit chat, and one of my favorite stories that I like to share is about the dash in between your name. So when you die, there will be a dash in the middle, and the dash is the stuff that's important, right? The day that you're born is great, but we like to say the day that you find out why you're born, that's really super great. So you'll have the day that you're born and the day that you die, and the dash is all that you do in your life. And how are you filling your dash? How are you emptying yourself? I posted something this week about finding your passion, and I'd like to tell people, because people always say, well, how do you find what you're supposed to be doing? If you can think about something and it gets you revved up and excited, and you can't stop thinking about it in the morning or in the evening, it's probably close to that, right? If you're at a job and you're really unhappy, I would encourage you, don't leave your job today, but definitely start taking steps to getting to where you want to be, because this is your one life. There is really not another chance that you're going to get. And I know people who have stayed in bad relationships, at bad companies, even friendship relationships that are sucking the life out of them. Literally toxic. And you have to stop that. You have to make a stand in your own life. This is your life. So if you're not living your best life today, then when? When are you going to make that change? When are you going to say no more? I'm going to share something personal and private, and I know that my videos go public and live, so that's why sometimes I do hold back a little bit, but I'm going to share because it's so important about where I am today in my journey. I'm not perfect, and I think that that's, the scary part, right? That's the little enemy. I don't even say his name. That's the enemy in the back of your head, like, don't share. You can't share. You're not perfect. You're still, figuring things out. Guess what? That's part of being alive. Making mistakes, doing it, standing back up again. I don't care how many times people fall. You got to get back up. And if you stay on the ground, then you lose. So there was a time that I was hanging out with a group of people, and every time I would be there, I would think to myself privately, God is watching me, I'm not telling a lie. I would think to myself privately, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I feel uncomfortable. I feel tolerated, not celebrated. I feel just negative emotions. I wasn't in a good, happy place. I didn't enjoy where I was. And for fear of not being included, I allowed myself to be in situations that were not healthy for me because I was unhappy when I was in them. And I just realized, like, I'm going to pull back a little bit. I'm going to pull back and I'm going to see what that feels like. You have to take constant inventory of yourself, of your peers, of your family, of your relationships with your spouse, of your finances. If you're not taking inventory in your life, guess what? Nobody else is doing it for you. Okay? And I love Jim Rohn's saying, if you don't plan out your life, you're going to fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. So it sounds funny and cliche, but it's the truth. Other people are not planning big things for you. They're not dreaming big for you and saying, we're going to get this person out of debt. We're going to get this relationship back on track. We're going to get these kids to be, obedient, or whatever your goal is at the time. People are not peeling back the onion layers of your life for you and saying, let me get you your dream job. You have to actually get off of yourself, off of your chair, and step out. Step out in faith and say, how can I live my best life? So maybe today the message is, you may not be living in your dream job or in your dream position or doing something that feeds your soul. Find little areas of your life where you can do that. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a heart for the hurting, the least, the last, and the lost. Find an organization to come alongside. Maybe that's not going to be your full-time job, but find an organization that you can come alongside of and say, I want to offer my time. All I can give right now is 1 hour a week, but I can give that. If you're in New York or New Jersey and you're looking for a place, I actually know of a place that needs some help, some volunteer help. And I would love to give you their info. They're an amazing community of people that are helping the least, the last, and the lost. And they are a 30 or 35-year-old business, and they're always looking. So they're a trusted place for me to send you to. But I would really just challenge you and encourage you to do the work, right? People, they are so distracted. My best friend and I hang out a lot, and she always tells me that sometimes I'm distracted. Like, when we hang out long periods of time, so that's okay, right? If I was only hanging out with her for 1 hour, I probably wouldn't be answering a text or a message or a phone call. But since we hang out sometimes from the morning, and then we stay and have dinner, our families have dinner together, we happen to be blessed to live close to one another, and many of you know who I'm talking about, and I've been blessed by her life. But even then, she'll tell me, oh, you're so distracted right now. And it's easy to get distracted on the phone and the computer, and it's easy to be connected to everything except the people in front of you. So I think that that's something that I'm always going to be working on, because I'm building an online social retail brand. I'm building a brand of e-net series of empowering women and families to live their best life. So I am going to be busy a lot, but I have to be very careful not to let that overtake my life. So don't be so distracted, and don't let the noise in so much that you don't have quiet time. I do think that the thing that kind of saves me is that every morning before I get online, before I get on the phone, before I even pick up a phone, I sit down and I have a quiet time. It's usually about 30 minutes, but the short version of it is a couple minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I literally grab my coffee, sit down, I read through some different things, and I have a quiet time in my life. And I believe in God and the source and the light and the creator, however you want to call him. And I believe that that's the time that I get to just open up and pour out my heart, and he gets to pour into me and lead me and guide me to where I should go next. So that kind of time is super important. If you're not a very spiritual person, I would encourage you to find a book that will help you to just focus. A book on focus, a book on quieting kind of the noise around you. I have some great recommendations that I can put in the comments, and I have found a lot of them. I actually do a book called The Miracle Morning. It's an amazing book, and there's one for business people, entrepreneurs, but it's a great book about just what people are doing to set up their day properly. And it's not a spiritual book, it's just a book. But I really want to just encourage you today to peel back the onion layers of the noise and figure out what it is that you should be doing. And if you can't figure that out, go and try things out, maybe 1 hour a week, and say, let me serve my gift to the world. Because if you keep it inside and you die, and all of your dreams and hopes and music and stories and books and everything dies with you, if you don't empty yourself, you will never leave your mark on this world. So I encourage you, even if it's scary, to step out of yourself and do something that maybe scares you a little, but it's going to bless somebody else's life. Have an amazing day. We are stronger together. And thank you for spending this time with me.